Welcome to episode 4 of Curious Mama Conversation. This episode will be looking at planning for the growing years, and we'll be looking at some of the topics perhaps involving finance. And this time around, we're happy to have Ava with us again.
Hi everyone.
How do a family do budgeting for the children, the parent, and the whole family as a whole? How do you actually do budgeting for your own family?
So for us as a family, like from our experience, is we do have a kind of like money put aside for insurance, and then now in terms of investment, and then our expenses, our bulk expenses like water bills, electric bills, and like other things that is a reoccurring cost, like groceries and all. And then from there, we have a certain amount of money for other contingency plans. So like 1/3 goes to investment, and then the other 1/3 goes to like daily expenses and reoccurring expenses. And then the other 1/3 will be other contingency things that we might have that we need to buffer in case of anything. Yeah.
That's nice. Because of when you Google how to do budgeting, right? I believe on the internet they will show you some 50, 30, 20, like 50 for basic needs, 30 for what you like to have, 20 for savings, etc. While the idea is good, I think when it comes to implementation, our bills doesn't fit in so nicely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, for example, to someone who is keen to learn more, their education or upgrading skill fees, right, will be a must-have. Whereas someone who is focusing on enjoying their life, education and learning new things might not be a must-have. So it depends on how each individual cut the pie. Yeah. But like what you shared, I think in local context, the basic things that we need to consider first is, yes, the protection expenses, where we have like insurance, hospitalization and surgery insurance, etc. These fees must be incurred. So perhaps we can put it aside first, followed by our utility bills. That's something that must happen. And then we will slide further into maybe holiday trips, your monthly clothing purchase or monthly Taobao purchase, followed by additional savings. So there are different ways to cut the pie, and it differs for families. Next question. How do you split the bill with your husband?
So we have like a common pool, and most of the time he is the one, because he has more stable income. So I think the amount that he put is more regular in that sense. And then in terms of spending would be through whatever that shared amount that is in that thing. Yeah.
In that pool.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. For my case is that at the beginning stage, both myself and my husband, we have similar level of income. So when we go out, we pay for things when the bill comes. Now, after a while, I realized, how come am I paying for this? How come I'm paying for that? Some kind of bit of psychology imbalance. So we have a joint account. We open a joint account, and we make it a point that we will match each other's contribution to this joint account. Okay. I think one thing we like about this system is that after our income, we put in a certain amount into this common pool. I know the rest is up to my own planning for my own usage. All right. So whatever household expenses, purchases, on the bills will go to that common pool. All right. But in recent years, because of, I think similar to your case, due to kids, our income is not as regular. So the husband actually contribute more. And then we are able to see the level of the savings in this joint account. So if it start to draw down, then we have to do something, or we either have to discuss to do tighten the budget. etc. So when there is this common pool, it's easier for us to track.
Yeah, and I think we all have different relationship with money also. Like for example, we might feel like risk adverse or also more welcome more risk. And in terms of how we see money, in terms of like spending and saving, like some people, they rather spend so that they can enjoy their life and give the quality of life that they think they want or need based on, you know, their experiences or based on what they think they want to have their lifestyle. So it's so different from different families as well in terms of like the priorities as well. Like I am also aware that people also plan for like all this financial perspective based on their desired goals. Like for example, upgrading to a different housing type, like, you know, condo or landed property. So like the way that they also plan their whole financial area, it's also very different as compared to those people who might see, you know, like in terms of lifestyle focus and like spending on what areas, different areas.
Yes, different people at different needs. The next question I think is commonly found is how do family do investment and savings for the children's future? Okay, because I think in local context, I've heard of parents who are busy buying up properties because they have a sense of feeling that 20 years down the road, property prices will be so high that their children cannot afford. We also have parents who has been trying very hard to spend on enriching the kids in terms of tuitions or learning so that the kids stand a better chance to get into better school, hoping to get better result and then get higher pay. So different parents have different mindset about saving and investing into their children's future.
You know, one thing that my husband said is a lot of parents plan for like university, right? But we personally believe that university is not the goal that we want our children to pursue. And reason being is because the world is changing so rapidly, right? In the last few years, we talk about like open AI and, you know, cryptocurrency, and there's so many things that's going on for the last 5 years even. And I think for me personally as a parent, I believe that learning doesn't happen just in classrooms. So we are happy to allow our children to explore their interests and strengths. And the way we approach investment for our children is based on a certain amount of money that we want to allow them to pursue what you want. It may not be, you know, like Ivy League university if they choose to, but just more of like there's a certain amount that we aim to. When they reach a certain age, for example, 21 years old, then this amount of money, they can do whatever they want. They can start a business, they can pursue a bachelor or master if they want. They can, you know, go for like courses if they would like to. So it is up to them to use in whatever way that they want.
Some parents, they wanted to have a plan in place, but they realized they don't know how to start, where to start. So they will go to Hai Di Lao and enjoy their food first, then they will come and think about it. So different people have different approach. I once spoke to my superior who, the husband and wife, they are earning quite well. So I actually, I was a new parent then, so I asked him, how do you budget for your kid? You know, in terms of university, tertiary. So this guy told me that, why must I budget for him? Because if he cannot study, he won't use the fund. If he can study, he will get scholarship. So don't need to put in too much. You just put in a local fee, sufficient will do. Alright, so that was his sharing. But after hearing that, can I just take it with me and really follow him? I also not sure. But I'm quite glad that in Singapore education system, they do provide a lot of opportunity for different kind of families. Equivalent. So that is a blessing. But back to my own planning is that we will actually do an estimation based on what the kids need. I have 3 girls, so I have to plan based on first, second, third. Okay, plan based on different milestone. So in primary school, sometimes you realize that they need tuition. In secondary school, you realize that your kids will have a newfound passion. For example, she suddenly want to play electrical guitar.
Oh wow!
Depending on whatever K-pop or they will follow the idol.
Influence.
Yeah, then suddenly want to do a K dance. So whatever new skill they want to learn, we have to do a bit of budgeting. And then when they go to tertiary, it's another tertiary education with some living allowance because they go to one Starbucks really $8-9. Right?
Imagine 10 years later, how much would that be?
Yeah, times 3. Times 3. Yeah. So with that different milestone kind of expectation, then we will start planning based on that time how much money we need to cater, and we work backwards. We pull in some money, regular saving, etc., and then target the one that gives us the right return, and we try to come up with the savings. Whether it works, so far I think it worked quite well. Or rather, it gives me a peace of mind. So, for example, my kids now, they go to school. One day $2.50. Then when they go to secondary school, you realize that you have to double. And
because the cost of food is different, right? It's compared to primary school.
They spend longer hours in school.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then yes, when it comes to secondary school, the canteen will charge a bit more. Okay, so on this is without going to shopping center. And when they go to shopping center, you have to give them a few more dollars. So add up, right? You can realize that the money allowance is, for instance, it jumped from 200 to 300. So sometimes we'll just put a portion of spare money funds. I'll just put it into one particular investment that do monthly payout. And that monthly payout come out to be about $200-300.
Oh, nice.
And that one, I'm quite certain, I feel quite at ease that, okay, I settle your pocket money.
So
I may give this similar model to primary school tuition, similar model to secondary school passion pursuit, and also for tertiary. So I put it in different ways. Okay, so for example, in terms of money allowance, I know my kids will be using about $200 to $300 a month. So I like to put aside one sum of money into some fixed dividend payout funds that will give me $200-300 every month. But do note that different funds have different characteristics. So do check it out before you put into such investment. Yeah, but for me, because I put it into certain funds, they do pay out, and I know that will cover the allowance. And I can use a similar model for different milestones, like tuition in primary school, passion pursuit in secondary, and their tertiary education as well. So I segment them separately.
I see.
Yeah. Eva, do you heard about this? Many parents actually use this education saving plan.
No, I haven't heard before. Tell me more about it.
Okay. So there are different ways to save up for the kids' education, and one plan is very popular is the education saving plan, where, for example, we know that maybe at 19 years old or 18 years old, our kids need 60,000, for example, 60,000 to pay for their school fees. So the parents can opt in for such a plan and start paying monthly or even annually a certain amount of money that with 2 or 3% compounding return or even 4%, when the kid turns 18, the kids will receive 60,000. The beauty of this plan is that should anything happen to the breadwinner or the policy payer, for example, death or total disability, at the 10th year, 15th year, or even the 5th year, the kid will still get the payout 60,000 when she's 18 years old. So that brings in some form of certainty, or if nothing happened, it actually helped the family to save for the kids' education. So this kind of plan was quite popular at a certain point. But there's another school of thought, is that you can actually separate the saving function and the insurance component. So for example, in an education plan, the payout is given out when the payer encountered death or total disability. So if we separate the plan, you can actually buy a similar amount of payout term insurance to cover death and disability. And then the balance of the premium, actually the family can use it to invest in other investment. And because for kids, education planning is a long-term planning. There's a lot of options in terms of investment.
Yeah, what's the percentage that they mentioned?
For the return?
Yeah.
It varies. Depends on the risk level. But if let's say we take a reference to an index like S&P 500, on a long-term historical return is about 8 to 10%. But must be mindful that past data do not indicate future performance. But if you look at the long-term 10-year, 20 years performance, it actually pay 8 to 10%. So the second option of separating the insurance into a term plan and investment actually give a higher return. But that requires some investment knowledge. And for the education saving plan, it gives you certainty. It gives you certainty that I'm quite sure that if I follow the monthly payout, I can get the 60,000 when my kid turns 18. So
and that one is a different percentage, right?
That one, they will be, it'll be offered by the insurance company. They'll calculate, they may return maybe about 2 to 3, maybe at 4%.
Okay. So kind of like, it may not beat the interest rate or the inflation, but it will beat the banking interest rate.
Yes, I pretty much will beat the fixed deposit interest rate. So, in your opinion, which one would suit you more? If you have to choose one for your investment and saving for your kids?
I think I will separate out.
You separate
Yeah. I think right now, I mean, at least for us, we feel like starting the investment part early will help to kind of grow the money over the years. But also it really depends on the risk appetite of different people. Like for us, we are pretty okay with medium risk, which is what we are doing right now. I would see the education fund approach that you have been saying is more for people who are more risk adverse.
Risk adverse, or have certain worries that they cannot do regular savings. So they are forced to do regular savings.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually you're right. For these two methods both works, and it's suitable for different clients with different risk profile. So those who are more risk adverse, right, and they may not be so investment savvy, they can go for the education saving plan. For those who have some investment knowledge or they have a higher risk tolerance, they can actually buy certain portion of the insurance term plan and then invest the rest. So different families have different risk appetite, but there are many options.
And I think it's really about getting information that is trusted from a professional like you to kind of like understand what are the options available, what are the funds that's available, what are the goals that a family has, whether is it for family-related expenses or whether is it for children's education and learning and interest, like what you say, right? Then from there is to work with the advisor to kind of like craft a plan and work with him or her to have regular review to see the goals are being met, or are there any additional goals, like some families will want to change a house, or upgrade or whatsoever, or have more family holidays, and then plan it accordingly. According the way.
But many times, like what so far we have been talking about is about planning for the kids. But our body time clock run now together with the kids. And some parents, they totally focus on kids. They worry about their own retirement planning. So retirement planning should also kickstart. And luckily for us in Singapore, we have very good, government has set aside very good plans that we can start planning for retirement. The very basic one is the CPF. And recently there's this new CPF Life, and they are going to do away with the special account, etc. We also have the supplementary retirement scheme where we can park aside extra cash and then start drawing down at 62 years old. So all these are good measures in place to let us start planning for retirement. Do you have anything to share about your retirement, or your husband take care of everything?
We both have different portfolios for investment. Insurance-wise, we have already been doing the insurance. Actually, both of us started insurance investment planning on the first year we started working, and then all along throughout the years, there was a funds being put in different points of our lives. The fund will range in terms of like investment, but I think in terms of insurance, it's been consistent throughout the years based on the requirements that we identified at, I wouldn't say different stage of life, but at the beginning of our working life, those still are pretty consistent, but there are some adjustments also being made.
Which is very good. For my side, we have a different culture. My husband believes in building passive income. So he has his own portfolio of dividend-paying stocks. I am a more calculated risk. So I will go for equity. And for CPF, we actually put into some index funds and bond funds to grow better than the 2.5% offered by the ordinary account. So different family have different approach. One more question. How do you determine what kind of enrichment course that your kid should take? Because enrichment course actually can take up a certain percentage of the budget.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, enrichment has the role of whether is it learning or expanding their horizon or interests in terms of what they want to do or learn or explore. So to me, I'm okay for them to go for enrichment classes, but they have to, I'm prepared to kind of allow them to experiment and try different things. So I think in a way, also at this point of time, my 2 children does not attend any enrichment classes. And how I see enrichment classes is really a way to help them to explore. But if they choose not to, then I think that's fine. It's just more of like, if in the sense that if they need extra support when they go to, like, for example, primary school or secondary school, then that would be more tuition rather than enrichment class. And if they want to go for enrichment class, I will go for their interests and strengths. If they really want to learn a certain skill and they're committed to it, then I don't mind letting them try. And sometimes we go for like classes together as parent and child with my older one, and he does like have interest here and there. Like, for example, he likes dance, he likes music. So I've been going with him, but he has not expressed his intent to like learn a certain dance or skill. Some parents think that they find it very tiring to think what activities to engage the child during weekends, and enrichment class is one of the options, and that's okay if they feel like that's an approach to consider or a way to engage the children.
These are wise words from a parenting coach. Yeah, because back then when I was a new parent and my first daughter was like 18 months, they said play music or play piano, learn music will build the memory and discipline. Yeah, I think 18 months, not much discipline, right? And then somehow to bring them for a piano lesson, they were still, as a toddler, 18, they will have to play some of the music instrument first to get the beat first. So it's about a year or 2 before she can get to touch the piano. So that one is for memory and discipline so much. Okay, so I said, okay, why not then we learn phonics? Yeah, because with phonics she can help to recognize words, she can read. So I hope that she can read by herself. And
you don't need to read to her every day.
And then she will go and gain her knowledge by herself. So I go for phonics. Yeah, so don't know, it might be too ambitious or not.
But actually, you pointed out something that I remember. Like, one of the things that I really, or rather I believe in, is understand our children's strengths as well. Because, and also understanding the appropriate age appropriate behaviors. Like, for example, some enrichment centers, they really quite prey on the FOMO thing.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Yeah, fear of missing out for the parents to feel like they need to learn a certain skills. But whether the skills is age appropriate, I think that's the thing that when we get to know a bit more about age-appropriate behaviors, like for example, young children below 3, it's so normal for them to walk around, run around in the class.
Yes.
And to expect them to sit down and to do a certain worksheet or certain task, it's so hard. And I think in the end, the parent has a certain expectation for the child to sit down.
Yeah.
And then the child feels very stressed to be told what to do all the time in the class. That is not beneficial and enjoyable for either parents or the child.
Yeah, so sometimes the parents say it's okay, just go and try. It's
yeah.
okay to try, but
Okay.
why we talk about this enrichment topic in a planning stage is that because I think easily an hour is or they call it 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Depending on what class actually. Yeah.
$50.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the kids try drawing, try dancing, swimming, some other memory training kind of
Brain development.
Yeah, it
memory
can come out to 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And for new parents, sometimes they will take it as I can afford that 1,000, which is good on is good lah. But when you have second or third kids, then you have to start to consider can you afford that 3,000 or that 3,000 is it well spent, and how does it fit into your budget? So before jumping into different enrichment courses, perhaps you want to think each one is beneficial and really serve its purpose and help your kids to grow.
Yeah. I think we all have different capacity and capability to engage and educate our children in a different way. Then I think the question is, if let's say we don't want to spend that much money on enrichment, how as parents could kind of like be aware of ways to engage our children in a way that it's not too stressful in the classroom environment, but also it could be daily situations. Like for example, when my child was like 2 or 3 years old, he was beginning to learn and read and recognize words. Simple things like going out and looking at menus, or going out to look at bus stations, all the words and everything. We begin to recognize and determine different numbers and words, and he's able to catch it and understand it's relatable to their daily life. So I think things like this helps to build out the ability for reading and learning and recognizing words. And I think at this age, around at 6 this year, he can read pretty well at his age now. So I'm sharing this story is we don't need to send a child to a class to learn reading all the time. But if we have little things that we can do on a daily basis, or not even daily basis, like a regular basis based on our own availability and our capacity in different days, right? These are ways to build that literacy or whatever skills, like writing skills as well. Like it can be just writing what they love to do. Like conversation skills, like at home, we talk about things over dinner in a very casual way, and he could kind of like converse in a way.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So I think in this episode we have covered our own opinion on how you can do budgeting within a family, and how do you do saving and investments for your kids' future, and we talk about some of the main big item expenses when your kid is young. For example, the enrichment part, selecting what is important for them so that you do not spend more than what you should be spending. And we hope that to address some of your common questions. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zann, for having me.
Thank you.